Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able and join Kelly Loader in the singing of our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the starting lineup for the visiting Moncton Magic. Number 3, Corey Allman. Number 5, Denzel Taylor. Number 12, Anthony Anderson. Number 13, Terry Thomas. Number 21, Jeremy Williams. And the Magic are led by their head coach, Joe Serrano.
Good evening, basketball fans. We are live at Mile 1 Center here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Getting set for the second of two games between the Moncton Magic and the St. John's Edge. George Scott here along with Doug Partridge. And Doug, last night the Edge were outscored. They lost in just about every statistical category. What are they going to do to get this homestand turned around? Last night was the first of 4 home games that did not get off to a good start. They've got 3 more to go tonight, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. They need to change the pattern a little bit and get things going here at home.
Yeah, I think the things they've got to figure out, first of all, you got to know where Corey Allman is. You can't let him go 11 for 20 from three-point line again. I think that's the first thing.
What an outstanding night last night for Corey
he was
Allman.
on fire. And then the second thing is you've got to figure out your bench. You know, you've got, unfortunately for the Edge, Karan Williams is out tonight with the hamstring tweak. That means Jaron Skeet is back in the lineup. Your bench is not as athletic. When you think about when they first started with Jerian Henry and Desmond Lee was coming off the bench was very athletic and capable. Now there's good players on the bench, but you've lost a lot of that athleticism. You've got to figure out how they can be effective defensively when your starters are resting.
Starting for Moncton Magic, Terry Thomas out there, I thought he did a great job on Carl English in last night's game. English ended up with 18 points, but it seemed to be a very quiet 18.
Yeah, and he had to work for it. Thomas, and it affected Thomas, who's their leading scorer, and he was not, that last night, but he was very effective defensively. It'll be interesting to see if they need him more tonight. Can he do that defensive job and score?
Opening tip is stolen by Johnson of the Edge. Get it to Charles Hinkle. Hinkle with 24 points last night, leading all Edge scorers. Carl English, Allman on him to start the game. English from the corner. Doesn't go, and a good rebound by Lee. It's one thing the Edge did not do a good job of last night was getting on the boards, but good offensive rebound there. Give him a second opportunity. Johnson from 3 points.
And that's big. They need him to provide a little bit of scoring. Last night he had a hard time getting to the rim. He really didn't make a lot of plays. It's a good sign early.
Allman, Lee guarding him. Gets the screen from Taylor and throws up an air ball to start things off as Carl English stepped out there and got a hand up.
And Allman hears it a bit from the fans after some antics last night when he was making shots.
He was having fun last night. He was just making everything he threw up. At 1.4 straight, just missed a fifth. English from outside. Good start for the Edge.
Yeah.
A couple of three-pointers to kick things off. Anderson. Williams. Back down to Anderson. He'll retreat. Glaze is on him. Anderson just rattles around and comes out Glaze with the rebound.
Yeah, it's a good job by Glaze not to get beaten, to keep the Magic to a pull-up jump shot.
Glaze, it's going to be a kick ball as Williams got his foot in there.
And early on, you like the energy. If you're an Edge fan, you like the energy they're bringing to the defensive end, to the offensive end. They certainly look a lot crisper than they looked last night, even though they got off to a good lead last night as well.
Quick pass inside. Hinkle will lay it up and in. Great start for the Edge. 8-0, they lead it. Early here in the first quarter. Thomas, cut off by Lee. The Edge get another stop, quickly out to Lee, and he'll lay it in. Saw very few fast break points from the Edge last night. Quick timeout here by Moncton. Already tonight, they're getting up and down the floor a lot better.
Yeah, like I said, their energy is great. They got off to a similar start last night. It was 8-2. They were making the Magic take contested jump shots. They were doing a lot of the same things, but the energy is just a little bit better tonight. Now, force the Magic to take that early timeout, see if they can figure something out about how they're going to answer this, because it's basically the reverse of last night in terms of where the energy is flowing from.
Just what the doctor ordered for the St. John's Edge. A quick start after a bit of a lackluster performance last night. Probably a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, it was probably the worst game they've had this year. And like we said last night, you're going to have those types of games. I mean, that's not, you can't play 40 games of high energy, excellent basketball. You're going to have a few stinkers mixed in there, and that was what happened last night. So like we said, the most interesting thing about tonight was how do the Edge come back from that? How do they answer tonight with their energy and their play?
Yeah, 18-point loss last night, 116-98. My first game here, and everybody says it's the worst game they played. I may not be allowed back in the building if they put in another one like that tonight. Taylor, Glaze is on him to Anderson. Anderson in the corner, double team. Got him trapped in the corner, and it's going to go off of, they're going to say off of Carl English, and will remain with the Moncton Magic. But a good trap down in the corner. Didn't see a lot of that last night either.
Again, we're seeing a much more aggressive defense. They're up on everybody. They're really putting pressure on the ball. They're making it more difficult for the Magic to make decisions.
Almond, pump fake, rims out, 0 for 2. From three-point land, Johnson to Hinkle and to Desmond Lee. Up top to Carl English, watched by Thomas. English with the long three, and it just bounces out. Thomas into the corner, Allman not afraid to shoot it. This one he makes, and again, he'll dial it up. Looks into the crowd. 1 for 3. Glaze. Hinkle turns the corner. Williams got a hand in there, and that'll be a foul. First foul of the game. Much more aggressive on offense and defense for the Edge. Completely different team early, given only the 3 minutes gone here in the first quarter, but it's what you'd want to see. Thomas knocked it away from English, but went right to Lee, and English has got it back again. Trying to spin off Lee. Takes it to the hoop, doesn't go, but English will go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, and that's one area where Thomas could be a little bit better. He gets up and puts a lot of pressure on Carl, takes away the threes, which is what you have to do. But you also have to have stance discipline and be able to keep the ball in front of you, or at least stay between your player and the rim a little bit better.
Another area where the Edge performed poorly last night was right here on the charity stripe, just shooting 66% from the free throw line.
Yeah, they do have a couple of guys that aren't great foul shooters, and that, you know, if those are the guys getting to the line on any given night, it's going to disrupt your percentage.
Well, English makes the first 2, and it's a 12-3 lead for St. John's. Williams. Gets it to Allman. Hinkle out aggressively on Allman. They'll get it down to Williams, working against Lee. Williams, a tough shot from the baseline. Foul called on Desmond Lee.
Yeah. Lee being told to calm down a little bit. He was being a little demonstrative. He didn't like the call, and he got a little hot.
He was complaining that the Moncton player, Williams, pushed off with the free arm to get himself a little bit of space to get that shot away. First one a little strong.
Yeah, I think the big change we're seeing defensively for the Edge is they're basically saying Williams and Taylor are not very good scorers. They're not really respecting them. When they're rolling to the net off the pick and roll, they're staying with the ball. Like they're pretty much giving them a free roll and saying, yeah, you're going to have to pump it inside and beat us in the paint.
Johnson, it's a screen from Hinkle. Get it down low. Glaze looked like he had an open, maybe a throw it down and kicked it out. I don't know if he realized how open he was. But they kick it out and they make the 3.
Yeah, it's new basketball though. Like, why take a layup when you can kick it out for a wide open 3? You know, that is the way the game is played. I mean, nowadays, what I just sort of said about the Edge is the same thing Moncton did. They let Glaze have the roll to the net and said, okay, beat us with 2s. And Glaze was smart enough to draw bodies, kick it back out for the 3.
Thomas to inbound it for Moncton. To Taylor. Anthony Anderson. Allman takes it right to the hoop and misses the bunny. Beat Glaze off the bounce and then missed the wide open layup. Hinkle from well outside. Glaze with a good rebound. He's rejected by Williams. He's going to go off of Glaze.
Yeah, it just rolled down his arm once he was blocked.
Great block by Jeremy Williams. Thomas splits the double, gets away the little baby hook, put back in by Taylor.
Yeah, and that's where Glaze has to be better. He has to physically put his body on the taller player. Otherwise, the taller player will just reach over him and either tap or rebound the ball.
English. It's the pick and roll to Glaze. This time he'll take it to the basket and get two of his own. Anderson driving. Glaze got a hand in there, knocked that loose. It'll stay with Moncton.
Substitution for the Magic, number 1, Brett Jennings.
Williams coming out for the Magic.
Yeah, Magic are going to get another scorer out there, and Jennings trying to stretch the floor a little bit more.
Thomas dumps it down low for Taylor. Glaze is on him. Anthony Anderson cutting through the key, gets the pass and the layup. Lee into the middle again. They'll leave Glaze open and he'll make them pay again. Jennings, turnaround jump shot, nice little left hand jumper. Thomas up tight right into the face and the chest of Carl English. They'll get it into Johnson and he'll get through and lay it in.
Yeah, beautiful little curl screen right over the top, and that's a good way to get Johnson going at the net where he's effective.
A lot of contact, foul called. Randy Glaze with the foul. Anderson will go to the line.
And Glaze certainly played well. And now Bremprong will replace him. And we'll see, this is the beginning of the bench beginning to come in, and now we're going to see, because this is really where it fell apart last night, was when the bench started to come in. So now we're going to see what the bench brings tonight.
English and Glaze are out. Brempong and Tyler Haas into the game for the Edge. Williams has come out of the game for the Magic, and coming in was number 0, Terrell Baines. So both teams starting to get into their bench with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 10-point lead for the Edge. Hinkle, quick release, a little bit strong, but getting to the rebound was Lee. Let's see where they're going to go with this. They're going to discuss it, and it will belong to St. John's. Lee with the inbound. The Hinkle, he'll give it back to Lee. Oh, sorry, Johnson. Now it's Lee on this side with it. Tyler Haas. Had it knocked out of his hands by Jennings, came right back to him, trying to throw it into Brempong rather. His shot a little strong, now they'll reset. Another offensive rebound after a...
Yeah, that's Lee's second, and that's a nice adjustment they're making. He's getting in the rim, to the rim, and getting on the glass more than we've seen, and that's helping them.
Johnson's shot hit the side of the backboard. Running out, Thomas lays in with the left hand, and he'll go to the line for one.
Yeah, and again, this is where Hawes kind of struggles. Like, you know, if you're late getting back defensively, you've just got to let Thomas go. Like, you can't give him 3 points. You've got to just let, you know, you're out of the play, let it go. Don't reach in there, don't put a hand in. Just keep the game going. Don't get the foul as well as the bucket.
Yeah, that last offensive sequence for the Edge was less than crisp.
Yeah.
Kalista's coming to the game, replacing Corey Allman for the Magic. So again, a little deeper into the bench, both teams. Johnson still out there for the Edge, handling the ball. To Lee. Hinkle. Didn't really get a good handle on that pass and put it up. The Edge cooling off a little bit. Thomas right side. Hinkle's on him. Step back. Off the rim. Rebound. Kalista. That's good for 3.
Yeah, and the Edge really don't box out. They have position, but without a box out, your position is not that valuable.
Lee surrounded by 3 members of the Magic, and they are going to call the foul.
Yeah. But yeah, you've got the Edge just have to be more physical with their box outs. Like, they have to get down, and they have to put their body on people, and they have to move them back a little bit and create space to rebound. And it's hard to rebound the ball right over your head. You know, even at the NBA level where you have those great big athletes that can leap and leap, still 74% of the rebounds are taken below the rim. So, you know, that's the importance of positioning and boxing out, and where the Edge as a team must see improvement over the next little while.
Now, rebounding is not about who can jump the highest.
No, it is to a little bit, but positioning still matters a lot.
If we can put a guy on your back, you've got a good chance to get the rebound. Timeout called. Edge lead it 24-16, 4:27 left to go here in the first quarter. And the Edge seem much more interested in moving the ball up the floor quickly as opposed to getting into the half court, especially now they've gone into the bench a bit. The last couple of times up the floor, they really pushed it.
Yeah, I mean, when you do have a bit of an athletic deficit, which the Edge have against Moncton, it seems counterintuitive, but you want to play a little faster, because then you get the ball up there, you get certain advantages that maybe you can't get one-on-one in the quarter court.
So a good start for the home team. They lead it by 7 points. As we get near the end of the first quarter here. Another good crowd. Before the game, head coach of the Edge, Jeff Dunlap, came out and talked to the crowd and thanked the crowd for the great support, and it has been an overwhelming success here in St. John's.
Yes, and I mean, we're not too far off a sellout here. We might have a few season ticket holders that aren't in the crowd, but the whole end of the stadium is full. Like, this is going to be another crowd. If it's not 6,000, it's not too far off.
Yeah, good crowd last night, but a bigger crowd tonight for sure.
Yeah.
The ends have filled in.
And I thought the Friday night is traditionally a tough night in St. John's. I know way back when I coached at Munn, we played a few Friday night games and the crowds were way down. It was very difficult to get good attendance on a Friday night. So even to have the solid crowd they had last night on a Friday, I thought was a great sign.
My first trip into Mile 1 to watch the Edge. Normally when they're playing on the weekends, I'm out in central Newfoundland doing senior hockey, so my weekends have been tied up, so I was excited to get out here and catch a couple of games. As I say, after last night's, I may not be allowed back, but hopefully they'll redeem themselves this evening. Johnson still out there along with Hinkle. Hinkle trying to get around Jennings. Loose ball. I think they're going to call the foul on Hinkle.
Yeah, he wasn't in a position to really get his hands on the ball, and he kind of reached in and got the foul even though they were on the floor.
Jennings knocked it loose, and Kalista came up with the loose ball. Now Hinkle will come out, replaced by Russell Bird.
And we see Johnson stays on, so I think you're going to see Johnson log a lot of minutes tonight with Williams out.
Johnson, the only starter still in the game for St. John's. Foul will be called on Haas, I believe.
I think they're going to get Ellis, and that's a tough one.
Okay.
You know, we're way up, so we can't tell what the body contact is. The up top can be clean, but he can be all over the body on the bottom.
Yeah, Thomas was driving the baseline, and both the St. John's players came over. Thomas misses the first one. Makes good on the second. It's a 6-point lead for St. John's. 3:30 to go, first quarter. Ellenson. Johnson. Bird working one-on-one. Tried to feed it in under the basket for Ellenson. Pass knocked away. Again, that's Jennings getting a hand in there. So Thomas will come out. Al Stewart in for Moncton. I really wish I had a year of the cat joke I could use. I've got nothing for Al Stewart. It seems like there should be something there. Stewart down in the corner. Anthony Anderson for Jennings. Jennings turns over the top of Johnson. Johnson's got the rebound. Quickly up the court. Again, trying to push it. Bird in the corner. Ellenson, three-pointer. Back rim. Brempong knocks it out. It'll go over to Moncton. Terrell Baines, watched by Brempong. On the right side for Stewart. Try and get the switch. Baines has got it back to Stewart, and Stewart is grabbed by Tyler Haas. He will go to the line.
Yeah, that was a nice little action there with sort of the handoffs and cuts, and then you hit, and then the player, takes the handoff, goes back on the roll to the other player, and then a nice give and go into the middle. It's a nice little action by Moncton.
Johnson finally comes out, replaced by Carl English. Haas coming out, and Jaron Skeet is into the game. Didn't play last night, so his first appearance this weekend.
And they're going to need him to play well. Like, there's a certain, you see they're going to obviously stagger Hinkle and English's minutes a little bit more. Try not to play too much basketball without one of them on the floor. But again, with Williams out, who has been kind of providing the bench scoring, Skeet's going to need to probably make a few shots here tonight.
See Grandy Glaze getting ready to check back in as well. Stewart misses both.
And tonight it looks like Moncton is the team that's kind of shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, this could be a 3 or 4 point game if they were making their free throws.
Ellenson tug on the jersey up top. Thomas grabbed Carl English by the jersey, and the referee caught that.
Yeah, I mean, really, Thomas is fortunate there that it's not because grabbing jerseys can wind up with more than just a personal foul.
Yeah, very easily could have called on sportsmanlike there. Certainly, as we talked about last night, not a basketball play, not attempting to play the ball.
Yeah.
The unsportsmanlike is two and the ball. In this case, it's just going to be the ball. Here's Jaron Skeet. The fans respond. Ellenson working down low. Throws it up with the left hand, against the left hand. Gets it to go. Good one-on-one play. Ellenson had the height advantage and took advantage of it. Stewart lays on him. Turnaround jump shot doesn't go, and Glaze cleans up the boards.
Yeah, that's a number of times Moncton players have had post-ups, bigger bodies on smaller bodies, and they're settling for turnaround fadeaway jump shots. Like, you got to play some bully ball there. You got to put your shoulder into someone and try and go to the rim, get a foul, make a better play than the one they're getting.
Carl English, a nice little curl, stop and pop. Kalista down to the corner. Three-pointer by Brent Jennings. 9-point lead, 1 minute to go, first quarter. English was bowled over as he came off that screen by Jason Kalista.
Yeah, it's just bad luck. Once Kalista goes to the floor, if he causes another player to fall, it's his foul automatically. So, it's just one of those unlucky situations for the Magic.
He was trying to get around the screen and just kind of tripped.
Yeah. And there was nothing wrong with the screen. The screen wasn't moving or anything.
Skeet handling it against Stewart. Skeet, left hand, had it stripped away by Thomas. Thomas up the floor, getting back and saving it. Good hustle by Ellenson. Wipe off the three. Foul was called first. What hustle by Wally Ellenson.
And Skeet too, because once he realized that he could have just hung his head about the turnover, but he sprinted back, got his hands up, tipped the ball. So I mean, overall, the guys gave a lot of effort there to save a bucket. And like we said, their energy is way better tonight.
Knocked away by Stewart. It'll stay with St. John's. English down in the corner. Bird knocks down the three.
Yeah, Thomas, I think, hurt himself trying to get around that screen that time. He's down.
Terry Thomas down for the Magic.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's going to come out. You see Corey Allman will check in.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it was a knee-on-knee situation or maybe a little bit of a Charlie horse or...
The shot clock and the game clock exactly the same. They'll inbound it with 24 seconds to play here in the quarter, with St. John's leading it an even dozen. So the Magic will play for the last shot of the quarter. Stewart drives in and missing the layup. Coming over the top was Baines. Now a chance. Bird. Ellenson got a hand in there, tried to tip it up and in. Quarter comes to an end. St. John's leading it 32-20.
So we get some indication about how St. John's is going to, they put their bench in maybe a little bit earlier than normal. After they kind of got that 11-point lead, they went to the bench. Then they took their bench out quicker than they do normally. So part of how they're going to address this is they're probably going to look for their starters to play more minutes tonight, feeling that they don't want to lose two in a row. They want to try and get this W. And then we said, energy-wise, much better. Defensively, probably as good a quarter as we've seen out of them in quite a while in terms of staying up on the ball, being intense, giving their help. So a lot of positive things. If you're a Magic fan, we talked all last night about their shooting coming and going, and it's gone right now. And they need to find that.
Well, they're not getting as many threes. St. John's are getting out on them much better. They had a lot of open threes last night.
Yeah.
Very few opportunities to even shoot threes. And they're getting those mid-range jumpers down along the baseline, tough angle shots to make. And St. John's is making it tough on Moncton tonight. They didn't do that at all last night.
No, and like you said, they're out on them much better, and they're going to have to find better shots around the key. If they can play a little bit more, like I said, a bully ball, try and be more physical in the post, make a few shots, force some people to come in and help, and that will open some things up. But if they can't make those plays and St. John stays out like they are, then I don't know where the offense comes from.
And Moncton has missed a number of very easy shots as well. The 2 or 3 layups clear, wide open layups. Last play where Stewart took the ball to the hoop with just a few seconds to go. Got himself in a great position there down close to the basket, couldn't finish. We saw one earlier, I believe it was Thomas, missed the wide open layup, laid it off the backboard, came out the other side that he would make 99 times out of 100. They're just not getting it to go down. And one thing about the second unit for St. John's, with any second unit, sort of by definition, you don't expect them to be as talented, as skillful as your first unit, or else they'd be starting the game. But they've got to bring energy, and I thought the guys for St. John's brought energy in that first quarter when they came off the bench. We talked about Ellison and Skeet on that one particular play, but they were playing hard.
Yes, and defensively solid, and last night they weren't, unfortunately. They were not defensively solid, so it's certainly encouraging. And like I said, they're going to go with quicker subs and shorter minutes, which should help those guys stay focused and energized.
So Moncton with the ball first to start this second quarter, trailing it by 12 points. Anderson cut off by Hinkle and lost the handle on it, and he'll get called for traveling. Good step up by Hinkle that time as Anderson tried to cut across the key. Skeet, a push off by English on Allman, and English takes it to the basket, misses it. Allman has the rebound. You see the Moncton bench react to that as well, claiming that English had pushed off.
He did a little bit, but Allman is an embellisher, and oftentimes when you're embellishing the call, you don't get it.
Hinkle knocked away from him. It'll stay with St. John's. Actually, you want to call the foul on Stewart.
Yeah, Jennings reached in and grabbed his arm. You're going to say it's on the floor.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 1, Brett Jennings.
You got it. It's Jennings.
The Magic's first foul of the second quarter.
Jeff Dunlop wants to sort of say, it was on the shot attempt, but the referees, and I think correctly, are saying that he was trying to gather. The gather wasn't complete when he was fouled.
English. Taylor up on English. English, a little shoulder shake, step back, knocks it down. Tough shot.
Harold English gives you the little telephone call signal. Dial it up.
Only 2, though. I don't know if you can make the telephone signal if you just make it 2. Great shot, but foul there, and Anderson will go to the line for Moncton.
Personal foul on the edge, number 23, Carl English. His first. His first foul of the second.
Carl English picks up his first foul of the game. Anderson again, they only make 1 of 2, but they come up with the offensive rebound. Taylor gets it out to Stewart. Allman quickly across. Anderson cut off by Hinkle. Up to the corner, Williams. Bird was on him and going to call a foul on Russell Bird. Tough one there.
Yeah.
Personal foul on the edge, number 32, Russell Bird. His first. The edge's second.
The Edge are doing a great job of making the Magic dribble east-west. They're not getting north-south. They're not able to turn the corner. They're able to keep it moving sideways. But they've been nailed 2 or 3 times on these pull-up fouls, on the pull-up jump shots. And, fortunately for them, the Magic have not been converting at a high percentage at the free throw line, but they're going to have to try and figure out a way to defend those pull-up shots without getting their hands.
Wow, another miss.
Yeah.
Johnson and Lee have checked back in for St. John's. 2 of the starters back in. Bird and Skeet taking a seat on the bench.
Yeah, and this, the Edge have their 5 starters back on the floor at the 10:35 mark in the second. This is about the earliest we've ever seen them get all 5 starters back on the floor.
English again with a little push off to get himself free and then draws the foul. But the poor free throw shooting continues for Moncton. They've all been infected with it now.
Yeah. And again, sometimes it's part of who goes, right? Williams is not a great shooter, and that carries over the free throw line. And he's, been on the line 4 times and made 1, I think. So some of it is who gets there, too.
A moment ago, Anderson just made 1 of 2. English makes his first. And gets the second to go as well. Now a 15-point lead. Largest lead of the game for St. John's. Taylor, handoff to Williams over to Corey Allman. Allman Great move to the basket. Again, misses it. It's stuck in there. That's going to be a jump ball.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the ever popular wedgie there.
Yeah. And on the possession, it will go to St. John's. But another missed layup.
Yeah, and again, these guys, you know, a lot of times with shooters, they want to be shooting jump shots, not going to the rim, right?
English had the ball knocked away from him and then picked up the foul.
And then, see, we haven't seen, Carl's been kind of quiet talking the last few games, but we're going to get some double techs here.
English and Allman both going to get teed up.
Yeah, now Carl just has to cool it off.
And it's getting physical out there now.
Yeah.
You got an illegal screen. First one, we saw a number of these last night go against Moncton.
Yeah.
So English will come out, replaced by Haas. I wonder how much of that between English and Allman goes back to the whole silly telephone thing.
I think so. I think, you know, if you're a competitor, that stuff sometimes it gets, you have to learn to let that be water off a duck's back to a certain level, but sometimes it gets under your skin, and then, you know, a few words are said here, a few words are said there, and
Allman was doing it last night when English made his last basket, turned to the Moncton bench where Allman was sitting and made that telephone signal at him. So yeah, it can get under the skin of guys. Nice reverse layup by Anderson.
Yeah.
Glaze right down George Street, missed the layup with the left hand. He took it right down the middle of the paint. Running out is Cox, and he'll lay it in. St. John's not getting back that time.
Yeah, and now they need a good possession. They, you know, you've had a couple of turnovers, missed layup. You want to try and calm it down here, make sure you get something good.
The lead is cut to 11. Here's Hinkle for three. A little bit strong. Foul will go against Moncton.
41, Anthony
Cox picks it up.
I didn't see that.
Didn't see it from up here either, Doug.
But it was an emphatic call, so one believes that he had a hold of somebody.
Sometimes referees will sell a call the same as a player will.
Yeah, nice take.
Lee driving hard to the basket is fouled. He'll
Yeah.
go back to the line for St. John's.
Yeah, he did a good job when he got on the baseline there. See, he wasn't going to get cleanly to the rim, so he put his body between the defender and the ball, tempted the defender to reach over top of him, which he did for the foul.
Lee makes the first of two. Nice looking release from Desmond Lee.
Yeah.
Nice clean backspin on the ball. It's not side to side at all. Looked very smooth. Allman, Hinkle's on him. Allman will try and drive it, stops. Forced to kick it out. Anderson for three off the back rim. Another offensive rebound for the Magic. Williams back out. Anderson driving it in. Again, they miss the layup. The putback is missed. Putback is missed again. Finally a foul called, and it will go against Moncton. Four missed opportunities on that one sequence.
Yeah, I think, and I think the foul is a bit of frustration there that they can't make the play because Tyler Haas again was a little bit mixed up in his coverage. He wasn't sure who he was guarding, and that allowed Anderson to get cleanly to the rim. But like you said, he's just
we've got another technical called here, Doug. Cox, who picked up the foul. He also got the last foul that we didn't see from up here.
Yeah.
And now he's been teed up.
Yeah.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 41, Anthony Cox, his 4th foul of the game.
That's now 4 fouls for Cox.
Yeah.
Midway through the second quarter.
And now they're going to shoot a bunch of free throws and get the ball back.
Well, Lee makes the first one. That's the technical. Now he'll shoot the 2. It's the second one. Actually, let's see. Okay. Their officials going to talk about this. I thought there should be one more.
Yeah. So I guess that was his 2, and this will be the technical.
We got
here.
2 on the penalty.
Yeah.
The foul by Cox was the 7th
Yeah.
for Moncton. So 2 on the penalty, 1 on the technical, and now St. John's ball.
Yeah. And I mean, Hinkle struggled a little bit shooting the ball here in the first half, even with the Edge having the big lead. So him getting a chance to go to the free throw line, stroke one down, may be helpful for him finding some rhythm.
This could turn out to be a 5 or 6 point play for St. John's. They made all 3 of their free throws. Johnson down the corner. Haas driving it to the basket, kicks it out. Johnson for 3, way off. Lee has it. Second opportunity.
And again, Lee has just been great in the first half of attacking the offensive boards off that baseline.
Johnson off the double team, threw it away.
Yeah. Not a good choice.
A long pass coming out of that double team.
Yeah, he just needed to kind of stay on the floor and stay calm. And, you know, I always used to tell my players, if you've got nothing, I'd rather you turn around to the sideline and wing it out there. Because then we get to guard 5 on 5.
You can get back on defense.
Yeah.
Glaze and Haas come out. Brempong is in, as is Wally Ellenson. 16-point lead now for St. John's. Anderson pull back, hits the front of the rim. This time St. John's come up with the rebound. Tried to push it. They try and get it ahead to Ellenson. Nichols' pass was picked off. Williams will try and punish them with a 3. Misses it. Good rebound by Ellenson. He skies for it. Out to Johnson. Reaching in, picking up the foul.
And every foul now, of course, with 7 minutes to go. I mean, this has been a long quarter.
Yeah, it's Stewart with the foul.
You know, there's been a lot of action to double technicals, another technical on Cox, lots of fouls. As a result, it seems like we should be close to half, but there's 7 minutes left. And, of course, the Magic are already in the bonus, so the Edge are shooting, and that's going to make it tough.
Johnson missed the first of 2, makes the second. Anderson to Taylor, guarded by Brempong. Thomas dribbles into traffic, kicks it out to Anderson. Anderson, a little crossover, takes it to the basket and scores. Great move by Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, and that's where he's most dangerous, is when he's a right-handed player, but when he gets going left, that seems to be his preference and where he makes more plays.
And on the foul, he'll go to the line and try and make it a 3-point play for Moncton.
And really both teams now in bonus. The next foul for the Edge will put the Magic on the line as well.
Johnson to Desmond Lee, looks off the Hinkle screen. It went off the foot of Lee, dribbled it off his foot, out of bounds. It'll go over to Moncton. So a good start for St. John's. They lead it by 14. Let's see how they finish out the half. 6.5 minutes to go. Tremendously strong move that time by Terry Thomas. baseline jumper, Charles Hinkle. Thomas, a little behind the back, and lays it in. Thomas heating up a little bit. All right, timeout's been called.
Yeah, I think there was before the timeout, I think there was one of the delay of game warnings on the Magic for grabbing that ball again. You gotta, if you score, you gotta let the ball go. You can't touch it again when it comes to the rim.
Yeah, you gotta leave it alone once it goes through. They get the warning and then we'll get the timeout. 12-point lead now for St. John's, 5:56 left to go in the opening quarter. Terry Thomas with a couple of good drives to the basket in the last 20-30 seconds.
Yeah, I think he's trying to wake up a little bit here. Like we said, if they didn't get that hot shooting again tonight, they were going to need him to provide offense, and him and Anderson really, Thomas averages 21, Anderson 17. That's the crux of their offense, and the two of them have started to make some plays going at the rim here. The edge was doing a good job of getting them going east-west. They're starting to get some north-south penetration now, getting later in the half, and continue to draw the fouls and do those things. So the Edge are going to have to try and clean that up a bit. If you're the Magic, like I said before, you need to get something going to the rim consistently so you start causing the help and collapse, and that should open up your shooting game again.
You mentioned earlier Terry Thomas last night was focused on stopping Carl English, but a lot of his energy into playing defense. English not on the floor right now, and Thomas said, okay, I guess I'm freed up a little bit. I'll start taking it to the hoop.
Yeah.
I mentioned last night, Canadian NBL Canada Player of the Year last year, Terry Thomas. All right, back down to a 12-point lead. Largest lead was 16 for St. John's. Johnson, tough pass into Lee. Williams was all over that. Lee into the middle, Brempong. Tried to dump it down low, and Anderson with a tug on Hinkle. Went over to help him get up, and Hinkle wanted nothing to do with it.
Again, Anderson's going to get off a little bit light here because he just grabbed him and threw him on the floor. Like, that's a little, that could easily be seen as excessive. And I think, again, the Magic are trying to send some messages here. It's that old, if you're an old school guy, you remember the saying, if you can't beat him, beat him. So we're trying to get a little bit of that here now. The Magic trying to send some messages, trying to see if they can be a little bit physical and maybe find an avenue to start chipping away at this lead.
So Hinkle on the line shooting the two on the penalty. Substitution coming in for St. John's. Bird will come in replacing Charles Hinkle. Thomas let it roll around. Didn't drop. Foul called against St. John, so they'll go to the line. And both teams in the penalty.
Personal foul on the Edge, number 13, Rancer Brempong, his first. The Edge's seventh foul in the second quarter.
Moncton 5 of 14 from the line. Make it 5 of 15.
Yeah, it's been a tough night at the line.
Collision under the basket. Referee says everybody get up. We're not going to call anything.
Number 2, Jason Caliste, and number 1, Bert Jennings.
Jaron Skeet back into the game for St. John's, handling the rock up top. Watched by Anderson. Throws it across court. Desmond Lee hits the inside of the rim. Offensive rebound, Rempong. So another opportunity for St. John's, under 5 to play. Ellison thought about it, kicked it back out to Skeet. So 13 on the shot clock. Skeet down in the corner, gets the screen from Rempong, cut off by Taylor, reverses, gets the shot away, doesn't drop, but again, with the penalty, he'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, it's a nice, it's a little bit more individualistic than you might like it to be. You might like a little bit more movement and stuff around on the offense, but when things are breaking down, sometimes you need a guy who can knife through the defense there, and I wouldn't necessarily see the Skeet knifed, but he was able to maneuver through.
Skeet makes the first of 2. And makes them both. So the lead back up to 15. About 4.5 to go here in the first half. Thomas Kalista is back into the game for the Magic. Skeet got a hand in there, and they'll say he was last to touch it. Statistics that we've got here, Doug, show the St. John's edge perfect from the free throw line, 16 for 16, but I know they missed one. That's my eyes deceive me. I believe Johnson missed one earlier.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I guess maybe that one didn't count.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're doing so well. We'll just count them all. Bird turning, spinning, hit the bottom of the rim. He was in there and just kind of missed it, got himself a little too far under. Anderson is fouled, and that, again, will drag out the half a little more. Every time there's a foul, we'll go to the line.
Yeah, this has been, like we said, this has been a bit of a long quarter, but, the game is teetering. We've had a couple people pulled to the floor. We've had some contact. We've had some technicals. So the whistle's got to come out. There's got to be a few more whistles. We got to try and clean it up a little bit. We got to try and make sure that it doesn't teeter the wrong way.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a stunning night by Moncton.
This is getting very strange.
Yeah.
6 of 17.
Yeah, and I looked down their shooting percentages and thought maybe they're just not a good free throw shooting team, but everybody is in that 75 or better range. That everybody who's playing is in that range. Baines, number 0, is the only bad foul shooter, and hasn't been to the line.
Yeah, they're shooting 76.5 coming into the weekend as a team from the free throw line. And that percentage is going to take a beating here tonight. Hinkle gets into the key, left-hand floater doesn't go. Coming away with it, Thomas. Kalista way off. That hit the backboard. I don't know if it barely grazed the rim.
Yeah, I mean, he came into this weekend, Kalista did, shooting 60% from the three-point line, but he struggled both games.
Last night we said there was nothing going right for St. John's, but we turned the table on that here in the first half at least. Lee gets to the basket, and again, maybe just a little too far under, but another good rebound for Glaze. He's tough on the boards.
Yeah.
Bird out to Skeet. Skeet for 3. Yes! Jaron Skeet. And the fans react. Again, it looked like an easy layup. No defense there at all.
Yeah, but it's all right about where you want to be. And if you're a player who likes to go left, sometimes going right, even though it's your strong hand, you're just not as used to finishing that play.
Yeah, Anderson missed that one. Tough pass by Glaze, picked off by Baines. So Thomas, before the basket, a foul is called. They're going to wave off the basket and shoot 2.
Yeah, and the way they've been shooting, you're better off making them have to try and make the shots.
Yeah, we're into the hack-a-shack early.
Yeah.
with this shooting percentage.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be wary of people getting in foul trouble, but sometimes when teams are shooting, they used to call it, you know, fouling for advantage. I mean, if teams aren't making free throws, keep the parade on.
Jennings makes the first one. Still just 8 of 19. And this time, Jennings gets both ends of the
there's
two shots.
There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, Thomas and
the
Skeet
official
are talking down there now.
Again, Thomas was just giving it to Russell Bird there that whole free throw shooting time. And I believe the official needs to step in there before and tell him to knock it off. You know, but instead it goes through to the free throw. Bird boxes him out, and Thomas shoves him. And, you know, again, you're just not dialed into what's happening sometimes right in front of your face.
And then Jaron Skeet got involved and right in front of the edge bench.
Yeah. But again, you know, if you're a Magic fan, you're concerned because your guys, you know, again, you've taken a couple technicals. You got that sort of altercation there. You've got some other things going on. You know, it doesn't look like your team is focused.
Yeah.
You know, their minds are going everywhere, and you're jabbering at other players, and you're throwing people down, and you're not dialed into what you have to do, which is begin to make shots. You know, you've got to make some plays offensively. You've got to come down and get some rebounds. They've been torn up on the offense. You know, they did the tearing up last night, but tonight Desmond Lee, Grandy Grays are tearing them up on the boards. You know, they've got to find an answer for some of these things and worry less about the extracurriculars.
Yeah, there have been a lot of extracurriculars here in this first half. 15-point lead right now for the St. John's Edge. Still 2:27 left to go here in this first half. It's taken a while to play this one. Skeet, watch by Anderson. They'll get the switch. Skeet trying to turn the corner, gets it out to Hinkle. Another offensive rebound by Glaze. Hinkle misses the layup. Anderson. Back to Jennings. Down low for Baines. Baines just bowls over Jared Skeet, and Skeet will get called for the block.
Yeah, and that's the kind of bully ball we were talking about earlier that you want. You know, when you have that physical advantage, that's the way you need to play in around the rim. You know, and Skeet wasn't able to establish position in any meaningful way, and so it's the blocking foul on him.
Baines was just determined to get to the basket and just out-muscled Skeet. All right, that's 3 in a row now made by Moncton. Under 2 to play. Make it 4 in a row. These are turning around for the Moncton Magic. Charles Hinkle to Skeet. Up top, Glaze, Lee. Lee off the Glaze screen. Spins around and throws it over the end line. Nowhere close.
As we say, that was a little ambitious.
Yeah, right now, St. John's scrambling. 2 guys chasing after the ball both times. Quite figure out who was guarding who. Now they get set. Baines on Russell. Gets inside and a good little crossover. Turns, makes it, and he'll go to the line for 1.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact there. I thought he was on the score. They might let him get away with it a little bit, but you know, that's a solid call. Bird was all over him when he laid that out.
So Moncton cutting into this lead late in the first half, down to 11, a chance to cut it now to single digits. St. John's had led by as many as 17, and they seem to have corrected their free throw problems.
Yeah.
Johnson coming back into the game, replacing Skeet. As we are down to the final minute here in the first half. 10-point lead. Just had a chance to cut it to a single-digit lead, but they only had the one free throw in the made basket, so still a 10-point lead. Again, another second opportunity for St. John's. Didn't see a lot of that last night. Hinkle plays, kicks it back out. Lee driving into the middle of the lane. Glaze lays it up and in.
Good patience there by St. John's to really use the clock on that extra possession and limit the number of touches that Moncton are going to get in that last minute.
So now Moncton will play for the final shot of the half, trailing by a dozen. Anderson, double team. Jennings for three, yes! And time will run out here in the opening half. 3-point shot at the end of the half cuts it to a 9-point lead. They get it under 10, which is what they wanted after trailing by 17.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the reverse of the night before, where Moncton had the good 14-point lead. We're only up 5 going into the half. Here, St. John's playing with a 15, 17-point lead for most of the half. Settles for a 9-point lead going into the locker room.
Okay, Doug, you and I will step aside here now at the Mile 1 Center. They've got some halftime entertainment. Local singer-songwriter Kelly Loader takes to the stage. We'll listen in on that. So here at Mile 1 in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, at halftime, St. John's Edge lead the Moncton Magic 53-44, but Doug, again, the Magic finished that quarter better. They were down by as many as 17. They cut it to just a 9-point lead now in that late three-pointer. They've got to feel pretty good about where they are, given all the opportunities they missed, all the free throws they missed, how good St. John's came out with so much energy. Only up by 9. This is a scary few minutes now, I think, for St. John's.
Yeah, they got, Hinkle didn't shoot well in the first half. He went 2 for 11, and I think, he missed some good looks, and that kind of let Moncton off the hook a little bit. I think if he had been shooting his normal way, this might have broken open to a bigger lead, but because he couldn't quite get it to go down, it allowed the Magic to kind of hang in there, and then they kind of uglied it up in about the middle of the second quarter. Some grabbing, some holding, some technicals, some other things, just to try and, I think, find a way emotionally back into this game. And then they started, Thomas hit a couple layups, Anderson started to heat up a little bit, Jennings hit a couple threes, and I think that's allowed them to sort of maul their way back into it a little bit, make it 9 points at half. And certainly that, how this third quarter is going to be important.
Yeah.
Because last night it was the other way around. St. John's kind of muscled their way back into the game by the end of the first half. Came out of the locker room playing well, got it either even or within 2 points, but then absolutely fell apart.
It was all Moncton in the third quarter last night. Yeah, that's when Corey Ullman went on that incredible streak of three-pointers. Ended up making 11 in the game last night. Leading scorers, by the way, for St. John's in that first half, Desmond Lee, 11, as did Carl English. And she mentioned Charles Hinkle with 7 points. For the Magic, Brent Jennings with 13 and Anthony Anderson with a dozen. Moncton will get the ball first to start this third quarter. As they say, they trail it by 9. They've got to feel good about that. First 5 minutes of this quarter, crucial. It's how you start these quarters, and after a good finish by Moncton, see if they can continue with that momentum. Anderson kicks it out to go down in the corner. First shot comes up short by Thomas. Starters back on the floor for St. John's. English. Hinkle gets this one to go. Maybe he will heat up a little bit.
Yeah, that's certainly, if you're an Edge fan, that's a good sign. He comes out of the locker room and knocks one down.
Williams watched by Hinkle. To Allman. Dump it down to Thomas. Thomas gets into the paint, and the soft touch will go.
Glaze showed out hard on Thomas, and then I think Thomas's defender thought it was going to be a switch. Glaze retreated off him, and he got a wide open look.
Glaze. And Glaze gets a return pass and misses the easy layup. Yeah. I want to think about throwing that one down, big guy. Thomas comes back with the easy bucket on the transition. Down to an 8-point lead. Johnson. English for 3. That's good. And Carl English. Again, we continue with this silly dial it up stuff going on. It's been the meme for this weekend. Everybody with the fingers up to the ears. Dial it up. Thomas, that's going to be an offensive foul. Got the left hand and pushed off on Johnson.
Yeah, he reached around, wrapped him.
Personal foul on the Magic. Number 13, Terry Thomas, is third. The Magic's first foul of the third quarter.
Johnson to English. Little handoff up top. Back down to Hinkle. They'll dump it down into Glaze. English was wide open, calling for it in the corner. Glaze decided to take it himself, turned it over.
Yeah, that was just a terrible choice.
Allman thought he was wide open, but hustling back was Johnson. with the block, and then he gets a rebound. Lee out to Hinkle. Now down to English. Gives up the three-pointer, goes glass, a little bit strong. Lee with an offensive rebound.
Yeah,
now
Lee's
settle
been,
it down.
You know, again, we said it in the first half. Lee's been fantastic on the offensive boards, getting second and third opportunities for the team.
Johnson is blocked. That's going to be a foul they're going to call on Taylor.
Again, a nice little move. Johnson sees he's not going to get cleanly to the rim, so he turns the ball away from the defender, puts the shoulder there, and says, "Okay, if you want to block it, you're going to hit me," and absorbs the contact and gets to the free throw line.
Great block a moment ago by Alex Johnson on Corey Allman. Allman thought he was set up for one of those open threes like he had last night, and Johnson came from behind and got two hands up on it and blocked it. He'll make the two free throws. Early substitution here in the second half for Moncton. Taylor will come out. Terrell Baines will replace him. Back up to a 13-point lead for St. John's. Anderson getting right to the basket. Makes it and one. Johnson called for the foul. Johnson guarded by Allman. To English. Randy Glaze. Back to English, sets the screen, back to Glaze. Glaze goes up. Lost the handle on the way up.
Yeah, he got stripped. They reached in, and Moncton reached in and poked it away from him.
Kick out. Thomas for three. Off the rim. Battling for it, comes loose. English is on it. Carl English. Back to Johnson. They will settle things down. Lee with a good move, gets right to the basket. A quick crossover.
Yeah, he just sold like he was going to use the pick and roll. The defense jumped that way. Quick cross and go is a nice move, like you said.
Allman, his three way off the mark. Turns and looks at the referee. And Allman will hear it from the crowd.
Yeah, Lee got in under him a little bit on the hip, and I think Allman was kind of conscious of Lee being there, and it threw off his shot.
Dialed it up, but went with a dropped call. English knocks down the jumper. Jennings, guarded by Hinkle. Nowhere to go. Back out to Allman. Allman working on Lee. Cuts inside. Takes it right to the basket. Beautiful move. Corey Allman. English working on Thomas. These two battling all weekend long, and Thomas wins that one. Gets the block, goes out of bounds. It'll belong to St. John's. Just 5 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Allman will come out. Al Stewart back in. Long pass out at mid-court. Anderson ran into Des Lee. Both guys going up for the ball. Cornerback and a receiver, given that it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
In complete, but pass interference was the call.
Yeah, Lee is a little frustrated. I think he had some trouble early in the year with one of his shoulders. I think he might have aggravated it there on that play.
English for three, short. Ball stolen away. English knocked it away from Stewart, right into the hands of Ellenson. Down to Grandy Glaze. Ellenson didn't quite get there in time, and did go on the end line, out of bounds.
Yeah, that wasn't a great pass by Glaze. He anticipated Ellenson coming through and threw the pass before Ellison was in a position to catch it.
Yeah, just a little early. Timing was off. 12-point lead, St. John's Edge. Anderson in for Baines. He's surrounded. Comes up with it, knocks it down, and he'll get the and one. Grandy Glaze. Let's call for the hold.
Personal foul on the edge, number 55, Grandy Glaze. His second. The Edge's second foul in the third quarter.
Baines will try and finish off the and one. He does. Substitution coming in for the Edge. Ransford Bremhong will come in to replace Grandy Glaze. Back down to where we were at the start of this half, a 9-point lead for the Edge. Johnson to English. English turns, three-pointer, off the rim, goes out. It will belong to Moncton. What last touch by Charles Hinkle. Anderson gets around Ellenson, missed the layup, but put back up by Baines. Lead is now just 7 for St. John's. Hand off to English. English turns, gets to the elbow. And smooth delivery. Quickly up the floor, and that'll be a foul. Baines beat the St. John's defense back down the court.
Yeah, and again, now that Moncton is making their free throws, St. John's has to figure out a way to contest shots without fouling. They're just fouling too much now.
That strategy worked for a while in the first half when Moncton were just missing everything at the free throw line, but not the case anymore. They've straightened that problem out.
Yeah. And again, part of this too is the athletic variance. You know, like we've said, Moncton is the more athletic team. And oftentimes when you're playing a team that's more athletic, then you get caught in that run and chase situation, and the fouls just appear more obvious and are easier to call because you're always in scramble or chase mode on defense as opposed to being set and in front of people.
Again, we have a 9-point differential between St. John's and Moncton. 67-58. Timeout has been called. St. John's, this is the second of 4 straight home games for them. They will play the Windsor Express in a couple of games Tuesday and Wednesday evenings here at Mile 1. Like to make some hay while the sun shines. You're at home for 4 in a row. You want to win at least 3 of them. Well, they've lost 1, so that's the best they can do at this point.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to get this one. You know, even if your homestand is 2-2, you'd like to get this one.
Yeah, you lose the first 2 of a 4-game homestand. There's a lot of pressure on you with those next 2 then.
Yeah, and you start doubting, like you kind of said last night, you start doubting yourself a little bit and what you're doing and questioning things, and it can lead to some decisions that aren't great. You know, it'd be really good for the Edge if they could find a way to finish this one out, get that W, keep everything moving in a positive direction.
Right now the lead is just 7 for the Edge. They had everything going their way in that first quarter. They've been hanging in there. English with another 3, again off the rim. That'll be a foul against Hinkle. So no basket will go the other way.
Yeah, and the Edge are mired in a drought here. That's a couple of really good looks for Carroll that haven't gone down.
Stewart down to Baines. Baines inside, good strong move, taking it to the basket.
Yeah, Moncton's gone pretty much exclusively to this little handoff flare action. And they're finding something out of that 3-person game on pretty much every trip.
Hinkle, 3, front of the rim. Rebound Moncton, just down by 5 now. They can really cut into this lead. Anderson. Back out, Thomas. Thomas, step back. Front rim, rebound, Hinkle.
Again, Magic get out of their movement there into some isolation, and that kind of hurt them a little bit.
Johnson a quick 3. They come up with the rebound, though.
Edge are settling for the 3 a little bit now. They might need to try and get something going at the rim here just to try and get a foul or a bucket.
Johnson will drive. Down low, Russell Bird will lay it in.
There you go.
Just like the doctor ordered. Stewart, guarded by Bird. That's going to be a foul against Russell Bird. A couple of substitutions coming in for St. John's. Jaron Skeet and Grandy Glaze. Ellenson will come out. Baines threw it away. Good defense by Glaze.
Yeah.
English with it. Quickly down low, Glaze. Up top, Skeet. Good ball movement here by St. John's. No shot coming. English's pass off the leg of Glaze. Not a good one.
Yeah, I think that.
And a basket and the foul.
Yeah. They had a couple of opportunities there to shoot the ball, and they didn't take those opportunities, and that usually comes back to bite you in exactly that way. You wind up with a turnover, the other team gets in transition, and Bird is not happy with the call, but it's an easy call. He's out of position. His back is to the person doing the layup. There's contact. That's a foul.
Bird will come out. Desmond Lee back in for St. John's. Stewart to the line to try and complete the three-point play and cut it to a 4-point lead.
And really the Edge are going to need some kind of a contribution from their bench here. The Magic have been able to roll their players through, stay fresh, make decisions. The Edge has
Skeet with the three-pointer.
That's a big shot, but they're going to need the bench to step up here to give them some rest. Otherwise, they're going to be tired down the stretch.
Step back three-pointer, quick response by Jennings. Still St. John seem to be a little momentum, a little energy off that three-pointer by Skeet. Jennings comes back and responds with one of his own. Quiets the building. Foul called against Moncton.
Yeah, Cleese holding the cutter off the ball.
Hinkle, high arcing shot off the inbound pass. Stewart to Anderson, underhand toss out to Jennings, and Jennings makes his second in a row.
Yeah, last night it was Allman, and tonight it's Jennings. That's, I think, either 4 or 5 threes for him in the game. They're going to have to find him early.
English Guarded by Kalist, steps inside, draws the foul.
Kalist is having a little bit of a difficult time navigating the screens. English is excellent at using screens and reading screens. Kalist is finding it a little bit difficult here to stay with him.
Yeah, Jennings 4 for 6 from the three-point line for Moncton. English to the line for 2. Gets them both. 5-point advantage for the Edge. Their biggest lead in the first half was 17. Baines hard to the basket, and that'll be a foul.
They've got to find an answer for this handoff flare action. They're switching it, and the switches of the little onto the big and early in the game, the Magic was just settling for fadeaway jump shots and difficult contested shots. Now they're just muscling. Baines has given them a presence, rolling in there, muscling in, getting fouls, getting layups, and you've got to find a different way to defend this, whether you're, going underneath the handoff or jump switching it, driving it back the other way. You got to find some way to keep this roller from getting into the key and getting the position he's getting.
Jennings missed the first. And the second one rolls out. So break for the Edge as Moncton miss a couple more free throws. Glaze. Wide open 3 for Hinkle, missed. Jennings. Long pass. Good job by Kalista to come up with that. And to Stewart. Glaze cuts him off as he tried to go baseline. And they go back to Baines. Offensive foul called against Terrell Baines. I don't think he likes the call.
It was a tough one. I think he felt he got bumped by Glaze, but what the referee is saying is that he had already pushed off on Lee before Glaze bumped him. So, that leads to the offensive foul call. There was a lot of contact there. So, like I said, we're way up on top of this. The official's right there 2 feet away. You got to believe that he saw it.
A moment ago, Hinkle wide open on that 3 over on the right side and came up with iron.
It's been a bit of a tough night. He's made a few shots here in the third quarter, but it hasn't been a great shooting night for him. And they certainly could use him to wake up a little bit here now as they head toward the fourth quarter. It would help, especially as Carl's going to need some rest at some point in time.
Yeah, Hinkle just 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. English. Guarded by Baines. Up to Hinkle. Hinkle, tough shot. Baines thought he had a clean block on it. He gets called for the foul.
It's tough because on the take, the Moncton player was definitely had a forearm in and was pushing. Jennings was definitely fouling him as he was dribbling. But then when he pulls up, it looks like it was a clean block. So, but it's tough. There's a lot of contact out there, and you have to try and sort through it and figure out what's meaningful and not meaningful. It can be difficult.
It's been a more physical game than last night's by a wide margin.
And again, if you're an Edge fan, they got into a drought there and they really struggled for a minute. But they're they didn't give up the lead. That would be the positive thing at this point in time. They're able to hang up by 7. If they can get a stop here, maybe one more bucket, you've done your job for the quarter. You've kind of survived a big punch.
Jennings, that three was a wild one, not even close, hit the side of the rim. Hinkle into the key and lost it. Wanted the foul called. There is a foul call that's actually what we're going to get is the technical against Hinkle.
And the foul. That's
and the foul
costly,
at midcourt.
Yeah. That's costly. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that situation because Hinkle was definitely hit going to the rim, and you've made a lot of foul calls down at the other end, and you don't call that contact there, and then you ring them up as well. I'm not a big fan of that exchange. Even though, Hinkle was demonstrative, and you could say the demonstrative thing merited the technical foul, but you also chose not to call a lot of contact there, contact that you have consistently called at the other end. So sometimes if you make a decision like that, you got to eat the result. Your ego has to allow you to eat that result a little bit. And I think there's a discussion among the referees as to whether the foul at the center court is being called as well. Yeah, and they are now. I think they're coming over to say that foul. Yeah,
discussion whether or not the whistle had gone for the technical prior to the foul in the open court.
Yeah.
They're going to award both.
Yeah. And again, we're also not down on the floor, so we don't know if Hinkle, besides the demonstration, he may have said something as well. And the saying of something may have been what got him rung up.
There are certain magic words that will get you teed up.
Yeah.
Stewart shooting the free throws. So they're in the penalty, plus the one on the technical. So he'll shoot three here. And the ball will belong with Moncton.
Yeah, and you had just started to get yourself straight if you're the edge, and so the whole exchange is very, very costly, and that's why you got to keep your cool regardless. You just got to play.
Should say belong to them or stay with them, just to be grammatically correct. Clear up that point before we move on. Shot rims out, rebound by Lee over to Skeet. 4-point game. Skeet shakes off Stewart. Skeet gets all the way to the basket. Boy, he left Al Stewart all alone up top of the key and then took it right to the basket.
Second time he's been able to do that to the Magic.
Jennings has missed three in a row now. Long pass up the floor, getting to it as Ellenson, his time is running out. He's complaining he was fouled as he turned and tried to get that shot away.
Yeah, it wasn't a legitimate shot. I think if he had been able to turn and get his feet set, he probably has an argument, but it's hard to say that I'm flinging the ball at the net and that contact made any difference in the
fouled
the
in the act of heaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the quarter comes to an end, and St. John's survived a little bit. They have their lead cut into. They led by 9 at half. They lead by 6 now, but probably could have been worse. Jennings missing three straight three-pointers after making a few earlier.
I can't remember if the Magic have 45 or 43. I think they have 43 at half, and so that was a 30-point quarter for them. And sometimes when you give up a 30-point quarter, you can get in real trouble. But so to be able to kind of not allow that to get away from them and to be able to hang in there and still have a lead at the end of 3 is a good sign. Like I said, now it's going to be this next few minutes becomes really key because you guys need some rest. Like, I don't think you can necessarily ride out your starters for this last 12 minutes. Like, you're going to need 3 or 4 minutes at least here from your bench to try and tide you over. And whether the bench can kind of hang in there for you for that 3 or 4 minutes might determine the outcome.
Jaron Skeet having a good night off the bench.
Yeah.
For the Edge.
Yeah, he's made 2 nice drives down the lane. He's hit a couple threes, and
yeah, he's perfect actually. Yeah. 3 for 3 field goals, 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. He's got 10 points.
Yeah.
2 for 2 free throws, so he hasn't missed anything he's put up. Throwing a couple of assists as well.
Yeah. And that's been, and his play has really helped smooth over the loss of Karan Williams, because like we said at the start of the game, Williams has been that kind of scorer off the bench who was going to pick up that slack, and Skeet's come in and really helped them in that area.
We had a couple of bench players, non-starters in the game for St. John's. Tyler Haas back out there. Wally Ellenson, along with Glaze, Lee, and Johnson. Stewart, Baines, Cox, Kalista, and Allman on the floor for Moncton. Desmond Lee, Kalista, and I think they're saying he stepped on his foot. That's why he went down as opposed to a trip. I believe that's what the officials are saying. Lee doesn't think so.
Yeah.
Stepped on the foot of the defender. Glaze up tight on Cox and gives it up to Stewart. Cox, good backdoor pass to Kalista.
Yeah, I feel a little bad for Tyler Haas. He always seems to be there when the ball is being scored. It's, he can't get away from it.
A great cut by Kalista, and a terrific bounce pass from up top. Ellenson in and out. Just a 4-point lead. Allman guarded by Haas. Jennings back to Allman, 3. Nope, not his night tonight. Foul will go against the Magic.
Yeah, as Lee lined up that rebound, there was a lot of contact there.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 41, Anthony Cox is fifth.
That's 5 fouls for Anthony Cox now.
And we've already got Carl English back in the game, so he gets about a minute at the end of the third and a minute at the start of the fourth. So
and Tyler Haas, brief appearance. He's back on the bench. Hand off to English. English turns. A little bit strong. Tapped out. Second opportunity. Down the corner. Ellenson. That's going to hit the front rim. Rebound by Lee. He's fouled.
Yeah, and again, just doing he's done a fantastic job all game long of coming along that baseline and getting on the offensive boards. He's got a size advantage usually on the guy who's guarding him, and he's using it to pound the glass.
Johnson up top to Lee. English wants it. Get it on the handoff. Again, lots of contact up top. English down in the corner. All alone down there is Johnson, and Johnson makes the 3. Everything happening up top of the key, up top of the 3-point line. They all forgot about Johnson hiding down in the corner. Turnover. Ellenson to the basket. The momentum swinging back in favor of the Edge. Back to a 9-point lead. Timeout, Moncton. Three-point basket, then a turnover and a fast break point.
Yeah,
fast break basket.
I think Stewart kind of suffered from the same thing that happened to Lee. Lee went baseline that time and stepped on the defender's foot and lost his balance. Ball pops out. I think basically the same thing happened to Stewart there. He tried to make a little shake shimmy move. It clipped a foot. Ball pops out. And Glaze is a great athlete. Just saw it right away. Pounced on it like a dog on a bone, and we were off to the Edge were off to the races for the layup. And Ellison did a nice job of protecting the ball, finishing.
Yeah, took it in there strong with 2 hands.
Yeah.
A little delay as he went up in the air, waited for the defender to clear, and then soft off the backboard. So we are back to where we were to start this second half. 9-point lead for St. John's. 5 quick points by the Edge. Moncton had cut it to just a 4-point lead just seconds ago. And you can feel the energy in the building again. It had disappeared for a little while as Moncton were creeping back into this. You could feel a little bit of tension, a little bit of apprehension amongst the Edge fans, but they're back on their feet now.
Yeah, and the exciting nature of the play, right? You hit a 3 from Johnson, like you said, then you get that turnover with a dandy finish by Ellison, and that gets people pumped up.
Ten minutes left to go in this one. Anderson able to turn the corner all the way to the rim and lays it in. A little too easy that time.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're staying glued to the shooters. It's hard to score enough twos to win in today's game.
Lee up top, watched by Kalista. Carroll English. Thomas on him, as he's been all weekend long. Little up fake, step back, baseline, good.
That's tough hoop. That's tough hoop because they got great help there. Cox stepped out big, and Carl just a nice fade and finish.
Anderson once again right to the basket. Couple of layups for Anthony Anderson. Lee. Out to English. This time he's got Kalista on him. Now Cox comes over to help. English splits that, gets it to Johnson, and Johnson will turn and lay it in. He got hit in the face. Gonna hustle back.
Yeah.
Referee blows the whistle. They're gonna check, and there's a foul called.
Yeah, Ellison committed a foul there and realized, and it's a smart play. He realized they were shorthanded. They were down a body. He just took a foul there to stop the play and not allow the Magic to get an open look.
Ellenson coming out, Hinkle coming back in for the Edge. Again, we are that 9-point differential. Seems to have been the magic number here tonight. Pardon the pun. There's a block. Ooh. Tough call.
Yeah.
Carroll English called for the block.
Yeah, I thought Carl had fairly good, and you know, you could say it's in the restricted area, but we got a good explanation by Mike Falloon, head of officials, beforehand, that anything from the wing, post entry, you're the primary defender, you can still take a charge in the circle. You know, Carl seemed to have good position there. It was definitely Cox lowering the shoulder to come at him. But regardless, the foul is called, and you got to play on.
Again, another missed free throw by the Magic. And Cox misses both ends.
Yeah, and that's, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if the Magic come up a little short at the end of this game, it's going to be free throw shooting that you look back at.
They are 20 of 34. They've missed 14 free throws. Or Lee, a little bit too far under the basket again. Jennings throws it up, looking for the foul.
Yeah, Carl did a good job of keeping his hands out and just giving the referee nothing to call there.
Johnson with the open three. Good rebound by Lee on the offensive boards.
Fantastic.
Back at the Glaze.
Yeah, Lee has been sensational tonight. His energy, his defense, his rebounding. He's made a few shots. He has really played his guts out tonight.
Johnson, Glaze, or Hinkle rather. Hinkle again can't get the three to go. 1 for 9 now. Jennings, way short. He was knocking them down earlier in this half, but can't find the range lately.
They've forced him out about another step. He's you know, he's behind the three out to about 25 feet, and it's just a little short.
English. Kalista.
Yeah, a lot of contact.
A little tight. Step back, and English will knock it down. And a little look at the Moncton bench as he goes by. It's the second time tonight he's had words there. They're going to count the basket.
Yeah.
Moncton will go to the line. Anderson's had a good second half.
Yeah. Johnson raked him a little bit there on the finish. He'll get caught for the foul.
Baines and Williams come in for Moncton. Conks and Jennings go out. Anderson makes that, and once again, it's 8-9 point lead. Just under 7 to play now in the game. I should say in regulation. Glaze. Lee. English wants it. Pass
nice
in for Glaze,
yeah.
and Glaze lays it in.
Yeah.
Good vision by Carl English. Thomas. He's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
I mean, whatever the final result of this, if the Edge are able to hang on to this and win this game, they get full measure, because, you know, there's been a lot of fouls called against them here tonight. Like, you know, there's contact and you can call it, but the contact at the other end is there too, and it hasn't been, the whistles haven't been as ample, so you certainly have to give them some full credit for what they've been able to kind of fight through here and just keep playing.
Another miss.
Yeah.
English gets the screen from Glaze. 3-pointer. That one was short. That's going to be a block against Carl English.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's not a difficult one to make.
He doesn't like the call. The crowd doesn't like it, but I agree with you. That was pretty obvious. He was never set there.
No.
And that's going to be 6 for Carl English. He's out of the game.
Yeah, he's got to be smarter in that situation. He can't. If you've got 5 fouls and 6 is your last one, you can't try and take a charge at center court. You just can't do it. You got to be a little bit smarter there and let the play go on.
So now Carl English out of the game, and that's going to be, again, an illegal screen. We've seen a number of those this weekend.
Yeah.
Jennings kind of dropped the shoulder a little bit. Well, Baines, rather. Number 0.
And now, you know, Carl was really kind of carrying your offense, so we got to see.
Well, this might be the man here. Hinkle. Can't get it to go. Just one of those nights for Charles Hinkle. The pass deflected right to Kalista. Drops it off, and Baines will hammer it home.
Just unlucky for the Edge. Glaze broke up the play, and the ball just kind of bounced the right way, right to a Magic player.
8-point lead for the Magic.
Yeah,
and then we're going to get the same call the other way. Illegal screen against St. John's.
Yeah, and Glaze is an excellent screen setter. He's really good at that. But
again, we'll get a timeout now with 5:20 left to go here in the fourth quarter. 8-point lead for St. John's.
This is crunch time now. I mean, again, if you're a Moncton fan, a door is opened up with English fouling out. You have an opportunity here. The go-to guy that's been the big scorer for the game, he's out. You have a chance now to kind of clamp down, and if you can find a way to get back to that handoff flare action they ran in the third quarter. They were having a lot of success with that. Find a way to generate some offense, and you got a chance. If you're the Edge, you got to figure out, you know, it's been a tough night for Hinkle. Lee has played a ton of minutes and played hard. Who do you have that you can go to get buckets down the stretch?
English leading scorer for St. John's in this game with 22 points. Not available for the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Will be Bird, Johnson, Skeet, Hinkle, and Lee. So Doug, who are we gonna get a St. John's Edge player of the game?
For me, this game is Carlos Lee. Like what he's done defensively, what he's done on the boards, his energy has been infectious. He's been the guy who's made, you know, Carl was the leading scorer, but Lee is the one who set the tone.
So Desmond Lee?
Yeah, sorry, Desmond Lee.
Yeah, Desmond Lee.
I'm thinking
player of the game
the
for St. John's.
player.
Yeah. I was looking and said, Carlos Lee. Okay.
That's the baseball fan in me coming out.
Thinking, did I have his name wrong all along?
No, that's my bad.
It's great. Doug made one mistake this weekend against I don't know how many for me.
Personal foul on the Magic, number 13, Terry Thomas. His fourth.
Thomas with the foul. Johnson to Jaron Skeet. To Desmond Lee.
Carlos' brother.
Long three off the back rim. Just an 8-point lead. Lots of time left, 4.5 to go.
Yeah, it's an eternity in a basketball game.
Anderson telling Thomas to come and get it. Thomas working in low, and look at the strength of Thomas, and he wanted the foul. Johnson with no answer for Lee on that drive. Now it's 6. Skeet. Skeet turns. Bit of a wild shot at the end.
Yeah. Maneuvered his way in there, but again, he couldn't get anything on balance.
Thomas kicks it out. Up top, Williams. Williams pass picked off by Skeet. And Skeet wisely pulls it out, then gives it to Hinkle. Hinkle gets one to go.
That was a great play by Skeet all the way around. He could have shot or tried to get to the rim. I thought it was a great decision to pull it out, find Hinkle trailing.
Hinkle, who has been struggling with that three-pointer all game, makes a big one there. Moncton come back with a two-pointer. 7-point lead. Lee.
Yeah.
Foul on Thomas as he just shoves Jaron Skeet to the floor.
Yeah, just I think just frustrated with the St. John's runs a lot of screening action on the baseline to set up other things, and I think Baines is a little frustrated with the amount of contact he's taken down there. All clean screens, but I think just trying to make people think about coming down and setting it again. You know, the whole if you can't beat them thing.
Randy Glaze checking back into the game. And
there it is again.
A push.
Yeah, there it is again.
This one is Baines.
Yeah.
The last one was Thomas.
Personal foul on the Magic, 0, Terrell Baines, his fifth. The Magic 6th foul with 4.
That is 5 fouls against Baines. Also their 6th foul for the Magic. So St. John's in the bonus. Pass out to Skeet. They'll look to run their half-court offense. Hinkle thought about it, stepped on the line. I think that's only going to be a 2. It doesn't go anyway.
Yeah, you'd almost like to see him pull the trigger right away if he's going to shoot it.
I think the first opportunity was the better of the 2.
Yeah.
Kalista, Hinkle all over him, and Hinkle will get called for the reaching in foul.
Yeah, and those are costly fouls because it's putting people on the free throw line. So you really got to kind of be careful about those reaches at this stage in the game. You know, you can almost, with 3 minutes to go, you're almost at a point where you could win the game defensively if you get just 1 or 2 more buckets. But, you know, you can't put them on the line, let them score with the clock stop.
Both teams in the bonus will be shooting on every foul going forward. 6-point lead. Calista will try and make it 5. And he is successful in making both of his free throws. 5-point lead. As Moncton gets a little bit closer. Skeet to Lee. Lee working against Calista. He's cut off. Back to Skeet. Skeet throws up the 3. Rims out. Moncton now can cut it to 2 or better, but then they turn it over. Long pass up ahead. Johnson lays it up, misses. Follow. They miss. Yeah. Lee missed on the follow.
Yeah, Johnson was clearly fouled there. That's unfortunate. He was definitely hit on that layup. And that's a tough one not to get the call, especially late in the game.
And we come back the other way, and Baines flushes it.
Yeah.
3-point lead. Johnson. Screen from Hinkle, down in the corner for Skeet. Skeet trying to take it to the basket. Lost it, got it back. Shot clock down to 4. Johnson's got to throw it up, steps inside, off the rim, but they'll get another chance. Johnson comes in and scoops it up.
I think you need a timeout. Like I don't know if I guess you can't call him from the bench. That's the tough thing because clearly they don't know where they're going here offensively.
Yeah, the FIBA rules. You need the
stop and
play. Yeah, need the whistle to get the timeout. Lee driving it in. Lee, who needs a timeout when you can take it to the basket?
And that's why he's the player of the game tonight. Like he's been everywhere. He's been like I said, defensively he's played his guts out. Offensive rebounding's been fantastic. You got to get a bucket if you're going to win this game, and he steps up and gets the bucket. You just have to love the way that he's played tonight.
Back up to 5 points. Still 1:23 left to go here in the fourth. Last night's game was over early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
This one's got a little more excitement to it.
Yeah.
So we've got a timeout on the floor. Both teams in the penalty, in the bonus, so any foul will be a shooting foul. Carl English has fouled out of the game. It'll be Moncton ball as we come out of the timeout. We'll see who comes out on the floor for St. John's.
Yeah, I think they're going to take Skeet out here and put Ellison in. So the hope is that Ellison is a bigger body who can maybe defend a little bit better for you.
Skeet's going to come back in. He had a small cut on his hand. I can see the trainer down there. He's getting taped up in the back of his right hand.
So they took Hinkle out?
And Hinkle's out. Skeet had the tape put on the back of his hand, immediately went down to the baseline, took off the tape and threw it away.
Yeah, I don't know if Hinkle has 5 fouls. Otherwise, I don't know why he's out here. Oh, that's an offensive foul. That was an offensive foul on Calista. Oh, this is.
They're going to call it on Ellison.
It's a terrible, terrible call. You know, it's just not watching what happened.
The other official's coming in to talk. He may have a different look at it.
Yeah, I mean, Ellison was coming down, trying to come through. Calista just put his shoulder into him. Was not a good screen. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And it's a number of unfortunate calls here late in the game.
Well, not only have they just called it a foul, they must have called it unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, I absolutely don't know how you call this. Like, this is. I mean, you want to talk about the game and you want to talk about the players. And as an announcer, that's what I want to do. I don't want to talk about the officials. But when you make a call like this, you force yourself to be talked about.
Huge moment in this game.
Yeah, that's 2 in the ball, and it's just a nightmare call. And now Dunlap is justifiably upset, but he's got to be careful because you don't want to blow the game.
So chance now for Moncton to pull even with a three-pointer. Just down by 3. Minute 20 to go. Anderson, Kalista. The three-point attempt is long from Thomas. So St. John's get the stop. Lee. Johnson, little hesitation, brings it in. Kicks it back out to Skeet. Skeet into the key, left it well short. It'll be a shot clock violation. Time ran out. Bad turnover there for St. John's, and now Hinkle will come back into the game. Ellenson will come out.
This is the possession here. You got to get some good D. You got to, you know, if you're going to give up a bucket, it's got to be a 2. Can't be a 3.
Anderson through the lane, lays it up and in.
And that was too quick. You can't allow them to score that because now you've given them the last possession of the game. On top of that, I mean, you needed to make them take more time to score. Unfortunately, to allow them to get to the rim that quickly was not where you want to be.
Anderson's been getting to the rim frequently here in the second half.
Yeah.
Now it's just a 1-point lead.
And you have to, you know, the Edge are taking the timeout here. You have to decide who it is you're going to go through to try and win this game. You know English. That would be your first choice. So what are we going to see here? I mean, clearly you're probably going to try and run something for Hinkle. You know, they run that little kind of re-screen action where Hinkle comes down and screens for someone coming up, and then it usually Glaze coming behind him to try and free up Hinkle on that. If you go to that, they also, Glaze does a really good job of slipping or sliding off those screens and finding opportunities to get to the rim himself. So that might be something you can run. You know, if you're the Magic here, you've probably talked a little bit about what exactly you're going to do too. If you get the stop, you know, if it's not an out of bounds or anything like that, then you can't get a timeout. So you've probably talked about what you're going to do as the last possession as well. And you got to talk a little bit about how do we get a 3 if they score a 2? How do we get a, you know, we only need a 2 if they don't score, kind of thing.
You're right. Without the ability to call a timeout on the floor, you've got to think 2 or 3 plays ahead.
Yeah.
All right, 1-point game now. Johnson, the ball up top. He's cut off, nowhere to go. Give it to Glaze. They'll go down low for Hinkle. He's double teamed. Now Hinkle working one-on-one. Kicks it up. And late in the shot clock. Hinkle for 3. Yes! Yes! Hinkle!
The one guy in the building that you cannot leave open. The one guy that you have to stay attached to. And Moncton doesn't stay attached to him. And that's unfortunate for them, but you got to know that. You just had a timeout. You got to know the guy that they're going to look for, and you know, you got to make Johnson go to the rim there and make a shot. Bottom line, if you're Moncton, it can't be Hinkle shooting a 3. It has to be Johnson, because even if Johnson makes the shot, you've got, you know, 15 seconds left to try and tie the game.
Again, all the focus was here on the left side with Johnson handling the ball and starting to penetrate, and everybody just seemed to collapse.
Yeah.
Hinkle snuck back out to the three-point line. Nobody picked him up, and he's been having a tough night from the three-point line. He's made his last 2 when they counted the most, and that one is huge.
Yeah. And really, you know, I mean, again, if it holds for the last 15 seconds, the Edge escape, they get the win, it's well earned. They've been the best team on the floor. They've dealt with some adversity here tonight in terms of some of the things that have happened to them, and they get full marks for this one if they gut it out and get the W.
I love the fact they went to Hinkle. He's been having a tough night, as I said, shooting the basketball, but when you're the man, you got to go to the man.
Yeah.
And you can't let the fact he's missed a few in this game worry you. He's the guy you want to get that shot up, and they found him, and he gutted it out and made it. Huge basket. Now it's a 4-point lead 14.6. Don't want to foul. Anderson again.
That's fine. Now you got to just get the ball inbounds. Well, they'll take a timeout. They'll move it forward. And really all you have, as an edge, you've got to just get it in and make foul shots.
Yeah, good timeout there, as you mentioned. Now the free throw, or the throw-in rather, instead of from the baseline under your own basket, is going to be up across from the three-point line, and you're in the front court.
Yeah, and now again your decision is who do we want out there to shoot these free throws. I think you have Macy Glaze come out of the game. He's not a very good free throw shooter, so you probably want to try and get another big in there who can shoot free throws just in case you have to go that direction with the ball. Now the last time they were in a situation like this, of course English was on the floor, but they ran a little diversionary screen along the foul line and just posted English up, threw the ball into him, and he got the foul, made the free throw. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they run something similar and try and post up Hinkle just for a straight entry into him and let him get the foul.
Yeah, for Moncton, it's you go for the steal. If you don't get it, you foul.
Yeah.
Not a lot of options.
No.
Still only 2 points. 10 seconds left. Lots can happen yet.
Yeah.
But for St. John's, if they can get the ball inbounded, get the foul and make those free throws, then it's over. Then you get to a two-possession game. But first, you've got to get it inbounds. They'll run a stack along the top of the three-point line. Where are they going to go? They get it to Hinkle. Don't get the foul right away.
No, the guy who should have fouled him lost his footing, and that allowed Hinkle to dribble away from him and need a little bit more time.
That took a couple of seconds off the clock.
Yeah. And everything matters in this type of game.
Well, when they wanted that shot at the end of the shot clock in the last possession, they went to Hinkle. When they wanted the inbounds, they got to go to the free throw line. They got it to Hinkle.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can execute again. The left-hander makes the first. All right, here's the big one.
Yeah, this essentially seals it if he makes this one.
This makes it a two-possession game. Only 7.3 seconds left. That should do it. Long, quick three off the rim, and that will do it. The Edge come away. The 104-100 victory. And they earn a split against the Moncton Magic in this weekend matchup.
Yeah, and like we said, the big question they had to answer was how are they going to get some bench minutes and better bench play than they got the night before. And they answered that question basically by saying we're going to play our bench less. they played their starters a lot. The bench was solid when called upon. Certainly Skeet's return to the lineup helped them. He had a good game, but they got a ton of minutes out of their starters, and now they got a quick turnaround, 2 days. Hopefully Karan was enough time for Karan Williams maybe to get healthy, get back in the lineup. That would help them. But like I said, full measure for this win tonight. Like, you can't take anything away from them. They dealt with a lot of things tonight and got it done.
Well, the St. John's Edge now 15-8 on the season. Moncton Magic 14-12. Next up for the Magic, Tuesday night, they'll be here back at Mile 1 Center to take on the Windsor Express. Those games Tuesday and Wednesday as the foghorn goes off here at Mile 1. Steve Power will be back to call the games for you Tuesday, Wednesday. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank the St. John's Edge for allowing me to fill in this weekend. It has been a lot of fun. Doug, thanks so much. You've gotten me through these two games. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed every minute of it.
It was excellent. I thought you did a fantastic job. It was a pleasure to work with you.
I paid you to say that. You kind of have to say that. I mean, you can't go on the air and tell me I stunk it up. So I appreciate it anyway. Thanks, Doug. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here tonight from Mile 1 player of the game for the St. John's Edge. Desmond, don't call me Carlos Lee. And again, Steve will be back with you for the games on Tuesday. Have a great evening, everyone. We'll see you next time.